All right, rainy day looking at a job. We already got the bid on this one. This is the first time I've seen it in person. Look at the size of this dinosaur tree. Holy, look at Grandma's truck right there. I got to bring the Prime Tech in, whole bunch of knives on it, and probably the 080 or the mech or something, so I can manipulate this a little bit so that the Prime can get some bites on it. Root balls, not that big, honestly. Pretty small for how big the trunk is. And then there's some brush over there and stuff. Yeah. Yep, that's an honest bid that we gave on, that's for sure. Small oak tree. I came back getting the Mechalec so we can manipulate the log around. We're a sub on this project, and Prime, he went and got his skid steer and a dump trailer, and we thought we could gain access to the tip of the tree, but that's their driveway and it's some kind of chip seal. So he's gonna bring back a big saw so we can cut it in half, and we planned on bringing the X anyway, just so we can rotate this big old log around if need be, if possible. So I'm gonna head down there right now. Saturday morning, trying to beat the weather. It's blue skies today. Typhoon coming in sometime from Japan. First day. Yeah, that's a Bad Jackson right there. Yeah, it's almost as tall as the Prime on its side. That's a big gal. She starts doing stuff like that. Well, I guess the people comment and say if they saw another tree bigger than this get down on YouTube. Video proof. All right, there's our limits. This stump just by itself is still I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty big feat to actually grind up that much material. It's crazy how Prime Tech knocked that out. Working a Saturday trying to beat a storm, and we're doing it. So this is our new buddy, Jeremiah. He's the one who is prime on this job, and his part of the deal is to move the chips out from in front of the house and dump them over here. We got like 4 loads over here, and this is some really fine stuff, and then just some standard stuff. It's an old dead oak, it's chunky. But I mean, the material is super, super fine. And the owner showed up, and the wife was completely stoked about all this, but her husband not so much. So I want to put the weird vibe in the air. He told Jeremiah to stop moving the stuff. Just pile it right there, which is kind of silly because it's contracted to move it over to there. Pretty cool though. He's almost gone. We just got the root ball left. My headset died. Oh shit, it's unplugged. Oh no. What is that thing? One more piece. I bet you those are like roots that are right on the surface. So there's it's such a massive amount of just chunks and stuff that was all over the place, and they just let us do what we're gonna do and pick everything up, pack it over here. All the mulch and stuff, this stuff would have surfaced, but they had him stop and told him no more packing it over there. They just want to leave it in the front yard, which we're trying to clean up, which I don't really understand. but some people just got their ways. Anyway, so there's a bunch of chunks that surfaced when he started scooping it up, just trying to make it look nice. And I brought the big bucket down here just I don't get to use it that often, so I figured might as well bring it down, help loading the chips up. We could have had a good thing going, but they shut us down. So I'm going to put this thing obviously in front of the machine and butt it up to the blade, and we'll put a bunch of junk in there. At this point, I'm just trying to make it easier on Jeremiah rather than these customers. The wife's happy, but the husband, he's not very thrilled for whatever reason, because making these kind of chips. So I don't understand. Had a tree in the yard for 3 years, looking like crap, and we knock out a project like that in one day, long day. We got here and the sun was in the same position, not up.
Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Without a doubt, the biggest tree, log, whatever you want to name it, that we've ever flat out just straight up ground to nothing. You know, I've been looking forward to actually seeing this behemoth in person, get the bid. Now it's game on to actually tackle it. Now, there had been multiple other contractors go out there voicing different options and ideas and giving their bids and, you know, the solutions based on the price. And man, obvious answer would be to cut it up and haul it off. But the amount of volume and material and just the, I guess the density and everything goes into play with that situation, because that tree was just huge. Like, that was a decent sized son of a gun. But it was most cost effective for us to just use the PrimeTech and mulch it all to nothing. And we kind of figured we could get it done in one long day, maybe have to step into the next day, which we did have one more day before that particular storm hit. And thankfully we were able to knock it all out in one long day and didn't have to come back, because I was excited to see that monster of a tree not sitting in their lawn anymore. And for some odd reason, the excitement of ours just got shut down when the homeowner, the husband, showed up. The wife had been there all day, came out several times, chatting, enjoying seeing it disappear. And then when homeowner, the husband, came home, for some reason, he just was not happy. I think he was expecting something like you would buy from Home Depot as mulch, just perfect, all the same size. But what this oak did is, since we're grinding it with knives, it's cutting at a finer level anyway to cut through this borderline petrified oak log mixed with rot, chunks falling apart. You're gonna get a bunch of fine stuff, and then you're gonna get a bunch of, not a bunch, but a decent amount of chips turn into chunks. Mulcher will go back over and regurgitate that on the ground anyway. Basically, I would just say it is a massive pile of dirt mulch. Be awesome for throwing in a garden. But anyway, the wife came out after I left, said she was sorry to us, and she wrote the check, and we are on to the next one. So she was happy. Somebody wasn't super thrilled, but we got the job done that we said we were going to get done, and we're happy about that, because that was no small feat. Let me know what you guys thought, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.
Curious to read your comments. See you guys on the next one. Later.